Okay, Miss Nova, can we learn a basic heel? Is that what we're gonna do? Yeah, it is. Do you want to find some crumbs while I talk really quick? So heel has a bit of a misconception in dog training because some people think your dog has to heel for an entire walk, but that's actually really bad for their necks if they're doing it right. Because a real heel, they are watching you and they're going at your pace and stopping when you stop. So this is great for passing crowded areas like passing a bus bench or whatchamacallit, I can't think. Just busy areas, shopping centers where there's food on the ground, that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that that we can get their focus when we're passing those areas. Or maybe we have to pass with the dogs and we don't know if they're friendly. And it's not always the best idea to let your dog greet dogs on leash. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach her to heel with us, but we're going to make it a game to make it fun to follow us versus dragging her. Because the other thing is I see a lot of people yanking their dogs, yelling heel, so the dog learns heel means you're going to get choked, and some dogs will figure out that they can avoid that if they move closer. But honestly, in my experience, most dogs I see just continue to be choked by the leash for most of their life. So I'm going to teach it without a leash on so that there is no leash telling her where to go, and then once she's got that, then we can add a leash. The other thing is, since she is personally not a big fan of the leash, this can make the leash a lot less stressful because we can teach her how to take the pressure off herself. So it can be really great for building confidence with walking together. And she's generally okay once the leash is on. Now she's doing better with it, but she's really not a fan of being leashed. So the whole thing can be used in conjunction. And it's also a great way to take your puppy with you if you need to have them follow you across the house because they're somewhere where they could get into trouble. They're learning not to chew on things like, say, electrical wires or whatever, and maybe you need to use the restroom or something. Or if you have kids, you don't want to leave your dog unattended. Whether you have a baby sleeping in a swing or just your kids are playing, you want to make sure you take your dog with you or your kids. And usually it's easier to take your dog with you. So it's really helpful for that too, to have them just heel across the house. Oh, Missy. Yeah, are you ready? All right, give me just one moment. You can find it. There you go. All right, you ready, Miss? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with free treats. I'm just going to set a treat at my left foot. And traditionally, dogs are heeled on the left for hunting reasons, but mostly it's because most people are right-handed, and it's easier to keep them out of the way on the left. Are you ready? There you go. So I'm just going to set a treat down at my ankle for free every couple steps until she starts following for it. Go off camera for just a moment so I have enough space to turn around. And now that she's gotten about 5 treats, now I'm going to start marking, yes, when she gets at my left side. Yes. And eventually I'm going to have a more random pattern. Typically I'm going to treat on the ground. I didn't there. Come here, sweetheart. Yes, good girl. So in the beginning I'm treating on the ground so I have time to get away. Yes, good girl. And if she ends up on my right side, yes, I'm going to just make an evasive maneuver so that she can, yes, end up on my left. I'm going to make it a little bit harder because I'm going to put her on the inside of the circle. Yes, good girl. She's not quite as close as I'd like, but yes. If you have a tiny puppy, that's actually where you'd want them if she were smaller, so she didn't get stepped on. Yes. Herding breeds like Aussies, tend to forge ahead. Yes. Especially when you're trying to turn. So it can be helpful to put your treat kind of behind your butt. Yes, good girl. If they tend to run ahead. Good girl. Now I'm going to turn right. Oh, yes. So I paused there because she almost crossed behind me. And so that's something you'll want to watch with your footwork. Yes. Herding breeds are going to respond to that a lot faster than, say, like a bulldog. Break. Go find it. With a bulldog, you might need to actually step to block. And so I threw the treat to get her away. Yes, to see if she would come back. There you go. Yes. So now that she's consistently following me, yes, I'm going to start treating to her mouth to keep her with me. Yes, good girl. Here we go. And this time I'm going to lift my hand to see if she will, oh, you're not going to do it? Let's try it next to the fence to see if she'll sit. You're not going to do it, huh? Touch. Good girl. All right, go find it. So I'm going to give her a break for a second to let her follow again. I'm just going to keep moving. I threw a couple treats. I'm going to keep moving to see when she'll decide, yes, that my leg is important. There we go. I'm going to have more treats in my hand this time, and I'm going to try and lift it. Sit. Can we do it? Yes, good girl. All right, break. Yes, good girl. There we go. So at this point, I could name it heel. Yes, because she's following me consistently. Good girl. Yes. I can toss her away. Yep. Yes, good girl. Now, if I weren't trying to stay in camera frame, then I would be doing big circles. Yes, good girl. Break, go find it. Going around patio furniture and that sort of thing, and making it a lot more interesting. But I do have to stay within the camera frame so you guys can see me. Good girl, all done. So I'm gonna give her a break for a second. You wanna go find it? Good girl. Go find it, it went further. Go find it, go find all the crumbs. And so what I'm gonna try and do next is I'm gonna do kind of some figure eights and see if she can follow with that. As I was saying, when you're turning towards your dog, you're gonna be walking together, but they have a shorter distance to go than you do. And so if they tend to kind of trip you and they don't let you turn without stepping on them, right before you turn, you may need to offer a treat. Again, kind of right behind your thighs, or if you have a little dog, right behind your calf, just to kind of get them interested in that. And over time, it just becomes that my hand will go back. So instead of having food here to follow, I'm just gonna point back. And that can help them learn that as you're turning in that they need to move back. She actually was okay with that. And also with walking forward, some dogs will try and walk in front of you. What's also important is how you hand the treat. So you don't want to offer treats like this, because I'm going to see, will you demonstrate? If I have the food like this, she would have to come in front of me to get the food, and that's not keeping her lined up. And what the heel really is that they're lined up with you, that they're focused on you, and they're stopping where you stop and changing pace. So I'm going to see if she's ready for some pace changes. Again, everything I'm filming with her, I literally just taught her on camera. So, so we'll see how she does with the pace changes, and I don't have a lot of space, so sometimes I'm going to have to go off camera to be able to go a little bit faster. But what's really important is that you give lots of breaks. If she were a dog, I know there's a noisy car. If she were a dog that would play with a toy once food was involved, I would probably say break and tug with her. So if she were, yep, yes, good girl. So if she were here and I was going to give her a break with a toy, oftentimes I'll say break, and then I will tug with them right here, but she's not gonna tug. I know, so you want the treat, huh? You're very food motivated. So let's see if we can do some pace changes. And again, once I'm trying to keep her with me, I will be treating to her mouth, but to keep her with me, some dogs have to stop to chew, and that's fine. Hi, sweetheart. Good girl. Oh, hold on. So just slow down or pause if you need to, and you're gonna gradually extend how many steps your dog may get before they get marked with a yes or a clicker. I'm not doing that right now. I'm not. And so you may be going more steps, and then sometimes you'll go less, especially if there's a lot of distractions, like maybe if there's someone walking by the fence or something like that. I'm going to be treating really frequently to help her ignore that in the beginning, and then again over time she'll need fewer and fewer treats. And in the long run, it's heel with me while we pass this thing, and then maybe you get to pee on a treat, or maybe you get to say hi, or maybe you just get to go back to sniffing because we're past the crowded area. So this is just to teach them what we want, and then over time you can use fewer and fewer treats. But if something is very difficult for your dog, then you will want to pay them with treats or toys. Huh? Where you keep, oh, you got right behind me. You got right behind me. Are you ready? Let's try. All right, yep. Yes, good girl. So we're gonna try a figure eight first. Right here, right here. Yes, good girl. So I put my hand behind me to help her out on the inside turn. Now she's gonna be on the outside. Yes, good girl. So for now I do have a little bit of food in my hand, but now I'm gonna see if she'll follow just my empty hand. Right here. Yes, good girl. Ready? Good girl. Yes, good girl. So I'm gonna point behind to slow her down. Yes. So she's not as tight as I'd like. Break, go find it, but she's literally just learning this. My dogs have actually learned that when I have my hands like this when I'm walking, I don't show them food to get them to heel. They get food when they do heel. So my dogs have actually learned that if I have my hands at my belly button, that may mean that they're gonna get food. And if your dog needs a little bit of encouragement, either to move faster or to refocus on you, you can also pat your legs. Good girl. Oh, I know, is that an ice cream truck? Yes, good girl. So if I needed to speed her up, I might pat a little bit. Yes, good girl. And again, she can learn to follow those hands. No, back. Yes, good girl. So learning to just follow those gestures. And again, there's no food on my hand. Yes, good girl. Very nice. All right, now we're going to try speed changes, so I'm going to have to go off camera for a moment. Oh, come here. Yes, so I didn't yet say, break, go find it. So I lured her back into the position just with my hand because I want to make sure that they stay in the heel until I release them. That is a lot to ask for a puppy her age. But you did it, didn't you? All right, so now we're going to try different paces. Ready? We're gonna go quick. Yes, good girl. And then we're gonna go back on camera now that we have enough space to do it. Yes, good girl. And again, notice my hands go up at my belly button. Ready? Did you get the crumb? Yes, and then they come down after I mark. Okay, and now we're gonna go slow. That's hard too, huh? So we're gonna walk very slowly, yes. Now if you do not have a herding breed, this is going to take you longer to train. Yes, good girl. So I'm using the kissy noises so she's paying more attention to me. Let's try that sit. So I'm gonna try a crossover sit. Yes, so she likes the crossover sit better. Break, go find it. So, go find it. There's two ways to get them to sit at your side. One is usually I use the left hand up, but that seemed to really confuse her. And she did it quite well when I had my right hand and crossed over. Oh, now you're not gonna do it? Ready? Let's see if you can push it. Yes, good girl. So she's not really hesitating much if I cross over with my right hand. Break. No. I know there's a dog. Ready? Ready? Come here. Nova. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. All right, Nova. Ready? Come here. Come here. Hey. B. C. D. Good girl. Ready? A. B. C. Good girl. A. B. Good girl. A. B. Good girl. A. Good girl. You did it. All right, break. You get a moment. So that was our puppy ABCs game, which can be used for drop it and emergency recalls and dogs on the other side of the fence. Come here, Missy. You ready? You ready? Now, last thing I was going to mention about these sits, you want to try and have them sit at your side facing in the direction that you're going to be walking. Hey, pup, so we don't get tripped. Did you need a quick water break? Oh, did I not seal those treats? I didn't seal them, did I? Those are my extra good treats. Come here, miss. Thank you. So if you're having trouble with your dog, say swinging out like this, now I did lure her with the food to do that, but if they tend to swing out, again, you can try with either having the treats here and lifting up. Yes. Oh, you're figuring that one out. Break. Find it. And I would oftentimes release in front of me to get them used to keeping that alignment. And if they are facing the front of you, you have a couple options. One, walk in a circle. Or two, ready, miss? I know you want those treats. Two is you can back up with your left foot and then forward with your left foot. Come here. Yes, good girl. But if they tend to swing out a lot, break. You can practice near a wall or a fence or furniture. Now, I might be too close there. Oh, careful. Come here. Ready? Yes, good girl. Oh, I know, so much noise today. Another. 1, A, B, C. Good girl. Good job. A, B, C, D. Good girl. I know, it's a noisy car. A, B. Good girl, you got it. Ready? A, B. Oh, you're getting it. A, B, C. Good girl. All done. So, hopefully, while dealing with all of our real-life distractions, we can keep our train of thought. But so if they tend to swing out in front of you for the sit, you can back up and get them back into position as I did here. There we go. And for that, some dogs, yes, that's enough. That's a little crooked. Break. But otherwise, you can use that wall or fence, but make sure, yes, that you're not too close. Now, if you have a dog like a bulldog or a boxer or a lab, good girl, break, go find it. They probably won't mind being quite close to the fence, but if you have a herding breed, they're going to have a much bigger space bubble. So when she didn't have this full brick width in between her body and the fence, it was too close, and she immediately got out of the space. So if you have a very sensitive dog or you have a more sensitive breed, it's important to give them that space. And you want to practice those sits when you stop, so that when you stop to talk to someone or that sort of thing, that they are learning to stop with you. But we don't have to have them stop constantly, not, hey puppy, ready? A, B, C, good girl. All right, Missy, I think you need a brain break. Yes, you do. You don't want it? You don't want the free one? All right, Missy, but we have a lot of distractions. We're gonna give her a brain break. You did the heel, you did it. You did it. You're probably so tired. Yeah, you are. All right, find it, get all the crumbs. There you go.